But on this note, okay, so let me ask you this.
Hmm.
So we'll tag this with Illinois because I want your impression of these teams. So with Illinois winning, I put them in the tier right now. National title contender. And I would define that, Parrish, specifically as you can envision this team winning 6 games in the NCAA tournament, cutting down the nets. It's something that you can picture happening in the context of this season. I think there are 20 teams that are at least reasonable to bring up. Not that there are 20 true national championship contenders, but I think there are 20 that you could reasonably at least put into that pot, if you will.
No.
So you don't think there are 20. So I'm going to I want you just rapid fire. I'm going to name, these are alphabetical order. Yes or no, national title contender, you can envision them winning it, okay? Here we go. Alabama.
No.
Arizona.
Yes.
Auburn.
Yes.
Baylor.
Yes.
Duke.
Yes.
Gonzaga.
Yes.
Houston.
No.
Illinois.
Yes.
I like it. Kentucky.
Yes.
Michigan State.
No.
Ohio State.
No.
Purdue.
Yes.
Providence.
No.
Tennessee.
No.
Texas.
No.
Texas Tech.
Yes.
UCLA.
Yes.
USC.
No.
Villanova.
No.
Wisconsin.
No.
So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got 10 title contenders. 10 of those were no's. GP has Arizona, Auburn, Baylor, Duke, Gonzaga, Illinois, Kentucky, Purdue, and UCLA. Here are my no's real quick. I was doing this after the game ended. I got Bama as a no. I have Michigan State as a no. I have Ohio State as a no. We agree on all of those. Providence, we both have as a no. We both have Tennessee as a no. We both have Texas as a no. I have Texas Tech as a no. You have them as a yes. And I think we agree on every single other one of these, my man. I thought there might have been 2. But it's just interesting. You went yes on Illinois, and I think it's only because of – no, wait. You have a no for Houston. I have a yes for Houston.
Yeah, and listen, I struggle with – that's the one where I felt bad about the word coming out of my mouth. I just think ultimately – like losing Marcus Sasser and Tremont Mark, they're killing
me that Kansas isn't in the list, by the way. Kansas is both of us a yes.
Oh, yes. I would say yes to Kansas.
Yes. I did this on the fly right before the podcast started, try to get every team. Kansas is obviously a yes for both.
Yes, of course. Losing 2 of the top 4 scorers has not showed up in the American Athletic Conference because the AAC stinks. I just think that's going to show up at some point. Like, my God, what team in the country could lose 2 of its top 4 players and still be a national championship contender? I don't think Duke could do it. I don't think Kentucky could do it.
I know.
I don't think anybody could. So listen, nobody respects what Kelvin is doing at Houston more than I do. I just think ultimately when you get into that tournament and you got to win 6 games, at some point after losing 2 of your top 4, I'm going to assume that's going to matter, or else you're the greatest coach in the history of the sport.
I literally thought, you know what? As we talked about on your radio show Friday, Kelvin Sampson is considered a top 10 just coach's coach in this sport. He is by most coaches that would be at that elite level, top 30 or 40 coaches. Kelvin Sampson is going to make the top 10 of many a list. And so I thought about that. I was like, it's not likely, but I'm not doubting Houston at this point. So I had him on there. But okay, now that I went down the list and it's 21 with Kansas, was there any school on there that was unreasonable? 21 reasonable teams at the discussion. Anyone in there that you thought, we shouldn't have even been included in that? Maybe Bama, but it's beaten 3 Final Four teams from last year.
Yeah, but it's also lost to like the teams that you are worse than the teams you'd have to play in the first round. Like the Alabama has shown nothing that would make you think they can win 6 straight.
That was my last team I included. So. And Providence is like 49th in KenPom, but what do you want from me? They have 2 losses. They have to be at least in the conversation.
I felt bad saying no to Providence. I'll be honest, because like they keep winning. They keep winning.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't. Here's going to be one of my little things again. Any of these teams in theory could beat each other, right? I think that's mostly true. Where I would agree with you is that all those teams could reasonably make a Final Four. But once you get to the Final Four, follow me here, you usually got to beat two awesome teams to win the whole thing. The gap between making the Final Four and winning the national title is massive. Like, it sounds like we're almost there. You're not almost there.
Two-thirds of the way. And that final third is a freaking climb.
For most of those teams you named, by the time they get to the Final Four, if they get there, they got to beat two teams better than them to win the national title in a 3-day span. That's tough.
I agree. There's a difference between being in the list and winning 6.
You get like, let's take the top 5 teams out of this and just focus on your other 16. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You get to the Final Four. Now you got to beat Gonzaga and Kansas back to back. You got to beat Kentucky and Auburn back to back.
Yeah.
That's tough.
It is really tough there, but I think this is a wonderful thing for the sport this season that, yes, there is an upper echelon. There's 5, 6, 7 teams however you want to group those. But even then, if you want to call that second tier, the likes of Illinois, depends on where you land with Arizona and UCLA right now. You want to toss in Ohio State. EJ Liddell's playing out of his mind. You really want to doubt Villanova? I just think there is a great cluster of teams that they're interesting. A lot of these schools have been very good as of late. And then if you're the kind of person like me where you love that you get a new story every single season in men's college basketball, then yeah, the likes of Providence at that lower level being good this year is cool. And then like Purdue's not at this level every single year, and they're in that top tier. So I think that's a really cool thing. After last year, it was really Gonzaga, Baylor separating from the rest of the sport. I just, the Illinois stuff really got my gears turning on this. And I sat down, I put pen to paper, so to speak. And I was like, how many teams are actually in this discussion? And you could disagree if you're listening. You're thinking maybe 14 of those teams, but even still, that's a lot. I think that's a good thing. It will make for a fun NCAA tournament. I bet I could name 8 teams and one of them would be the national champion. Do you want to do it for fun on the fly right now? You take 8. That's not good odds. I was gonna say you take 8 teams, I take the field, but I'm gonna want the 8 teams. But yeah, okay, let's say right now here today, February 6th. Someone save archive this and remind us, like when we get to the Sweet 16. What 8 teams are you most confident in? One of those 8 is going to win the national title. Your national title winner will be one of these 8 teams: Gonzaga, Arizona, Kentucky, Purdue, Baylor, Auburn, Kansas. I was about to say, is he going to say it? No, I don't like that. Let me start over. Gonzaga, Arizona, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. I want to leave Purdue off because of the defense. How are you leaving Purdue off this list? I'm not going to. Okay. But I want to because that defensive number bad. Gonzaga, Arizona, Kentucky, Purdue, Baylor. Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that. Auburn. Kansas. But I'm running out of teams. You got one more. I know. See, you're almost proving my point here. Give me an 8th and be done with it. Okay, but it is more than 8. The number I would like is more than 8. It might be 10, but I said 8. So you have clearly not mentioned a team that you need to mention here. Here we go. Gonzaga, Arizona, Kentucky, Houston. No, not Houston. Gonzaga, Arizona, Kentucky, Purdue, Baylor, Auburn, Kansas, Duke. There you go. You got to put Duke in there. But let me tell you who I feel sick about. Okay. Texas Tech and UCLA. After UCLA fell in triple overtime, Arizona State. It's hard to go down there and win in the desert. You hanging with me and the other degenerates watching that triple overtime game last night? No shot. Bro, I was asleep by 9:30. Yeah, you were. There is no chance. Anyway. No, I swear to God. I flew home yesterday morning. I had to get up at 5 a.m. Central to come home. And then I had to hang out with my kids all day. I was out by 9:30. That's the truth. I'm glad you got a good night's sleep here. And you're going to get a Sunday night free. I hope everyone's enjoying our little Sunday podcast in the sun, if you will, a little earlier than normal. Sorry to sideswipe us, but I thought this might be fun, and it was. So a lot of teams to consider there. And yeah, there your GU zone of Kentucky, Purdue, Baylor, Auburn, Kansas, Duke. You're 8. You're saying one of those 8 will win the national title. Let's circle back on that and say 6 weeks from now and see how that list ages, so to speak. But particularly after this weekend where we went into it. Very fun matchup weekend, right? On Saturday, a lot to look forward to, noon to midnight. And then it kind of became a letdown Saturday, but I also thought a little bit of separation Saturday, so to speak, Parrish, where you had a lot of these teams that we just mentioned. A lot of them got a win and continued to kind of establish themselves in that either tier A or tier B, if you will.